Hello and welcome to Fix and Drive. Today I'm going to show you how to install a race mode switch on an Alfa Romeo Giulia 2.0 turbo. So let's get started. Here are some of the tools you will need for this install. You will need a drive mode selector switch that has race mode as part of it. And here is the part number for the switch that I used. You may need a dash removal kit depending on how hard it is to pull out your center console. You'll need a screwdriver with a T20 Torx bit. You will need a laptop that has MultiECUscan installed and an interface ODB2 reader for Alfa Romeo Giulia. And if your vehicle is a 2018 or higher, you will need a secure gateway bypass module, and click in the upper right hand corner for a link on how to install this. The first thing we'll need to do is remove the center console. We'll lift up on the armrest and then start to pinch on the sides and lift up, and it should pull it loose from the clips. And then once we have the armrest area loosened, we'll open the cup holder section and lift up on the front to help loosen up the front part of the console. And then you'll work your way around until it's pulled loose. Then you'll slide out the controller panel. Underneath the controller panel is 3 connectors we'll need to disconnect. You'll remove them by pinching in a tab tightly and then pulling down to disconnect the connectors. I'm starting with the infotainment connector. Pull that loose, and then I'm working my way over to the volume knob, pinching the tab and then pulling it loose, and then making my way over to the drive mode selector. It's a little tab, you'll have to reach down in there to pinch it down and then pull up. Okay, so now we're going to find the drive mode selector, and then we have 3 screws we need to remove. So using a screwdriver with a T20 Torx bit, we'll remove the 3 screws. Okay, and here's the old drive mode selector, and here's the new one we'll be installing. Okay, we'll line up the controllers so that the screw holes line up, and then we'll screw it back in. Okay, so now we need to plug in the 3 connectors back to the control panel. I'm going to start with the widest one, which is the infotainment plug, and then the smallest one is the volume plug, and then the medium one is for the drive mode controller. So it's actually easiest to start with the drive mode. It has the longest cord, and then I'll plug in the infotainment next. And then I'll plug in the volume connector last. Okay, and now we'll slide the panel back into the center console armrest area. And you just kind of slide it underneath the parking brake switch and then the bracket on the other side. And then once we have that lined up, you just gently set it back down, line up the holes, and then you just kind of push down around the console to get it back in. And then kind of take your hand and just tap it down to get it back into the brackets. So that's the install part. Okay, so you'll notice if you turn on the car now after installing the race mode switch, you'll notice that you can flip through the drive modes, but you still can't activate race mode. We will need to use MultiECUscan to be able to configure the race mode selection. ODB2 interface that's designed for the Alfa Romeo Giulia. We will connect it to the OBD2 reader that's below the mini glove box on the driver's side of the car, just underneath the dashboard. Okay. Then we'll want to take the USB side of the interface and plug it into the laptop. You can start up MultiECUscan, and then before we get started, with your foot off the brake, press the start button and start the car without the engine running. And then in MultiECUscan, the first thing we'll need to do is click on settings. And excuse me for how blurry this turned out. I'll try to explain it the best I can as we see it. But there's a tab that says interfaces. You want to click on that. And then under the interface type, you want to select high speed. If you select low speed, it will possibly crash during the proxy alignment and can make your odometer blink, or it could break your car. So it's important to have this high speed setting. Okay, so in MultiECUscan, you want to select Alfa Romeo Giulia 2.0 Turbo, and then select body, and then CAN setup. Then you'll go to the right side and click connect, and then it'll connect to your ECU, and just give it a second, waiting for it to connect. Okay, then it'll give you a warning. You click yes, then go to adjustments, and then scroll down till you see dynamic control selector. And then you'll select that, and then click execute in the lower right corner, and you'll get this pop-up. You want to select type 2-DNA. Click OK. And then you'll confirm by clicking yes. And then click yes for completed. Now that we have the correct mode selected, we'll need to scroll back up and go to proxy alignment procedure. Click that, and then read the notes on the side, and then click execute. Okay, then you want to read all the notes. So once you click OK, it starts writing the proxy alignment. I sped this up because this will take quite a few minutes. And then it's going to ask to switch to the blue cable. So you want to switch this out probably within 30 seconds. Be safe. And then you'll connect it back to the OBD2 reader, plug it in, and then you'll click yes. And then it's going to scan for a few more things. I'll go ahead and speed this up. And then it will ask you to connect the gray cable. We'll do the same thing. We'll unplug the blue one, and then within 30 seconds we'll switch it out with the gray cable, and then we'll plug it back into the ODB2 reader underneath the dashboard. And once the gray connector is connected, click OK, and then let it write the new proxy data. And then we'll turn off the car, and then some of your cars, you may notice when you turn it back on, you're going to get a Christmas tree of warning lights. Don't panic. There's a way to reset this. So we'll let it go through the warning lights, and then I'll show you what to do next. So it wants us to reset the ABS system. So in the left side, we'll scroll up until we find ABS, then we'll select it, and then we'll select the Continental ABS MK-C1, and then click Connect. Make sure the gray adapter is connected. Click Yes. And then it's going to connect to the ECU. Okay. Then we're going to select Adjustments, and then go to Lateral and Longitudinal Acceleration Sensor Calibration. Click on that, and then click Execute. It says Read All Notes. If you read notes, click Yes, and then it's completed. Click Yes. Then we're going to go to Reset Steering Angle. Click Execute. It's going to ask you to read the notes. Click Yes, and then the reset's complete for that. And then Pressure Sensor Calibrations. Click Execute. Yes for the notes. And then it's completed. You click Yes. So now we'll turn the car back off. Give it a few seconds. Kind of let it clear itself out. And then when we turn it back on, all the warning lights should be gone. Okay, so it looks like no more error codes are popping up. So it looks like we're good. Okay, so now we can turn and select the different drive modes and see if race mode is active. So we have normal, dynamic, and then we flip up to race, and then it switches over. So now our traction control and stability control will be turned off. We get this larger speedometer. It may be a gear selector depending on the year you have, and you have the yellow line underneath. And this will also let your gears hang longer if you leave it in automatic mode, but it will make your car more enjoyable to drive. So good to go. Okay, so that's how you install and configure the race mode selector on your Alfa Romeo Giulia 2.0 Turbo. Having this selector on the car makes it feel like you have more control over the car, since the stability control and traction control will be turned off. This will come in handy if you want to have more spirited driving or do autocrosses. And it just makes the car feel more aggressive. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe. And if you want to make this car feel even crazier, stay tuned for my next video when I'll show you how to install a Madness Go pedal to stack on top of the race mode, and it makes the car feel quite lively. Thank you, stay safe, and God bless.